Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Shanika and today's yin yoga class is going to be very nourishing and relaxing. Really great if you're feeling stressed out right now. I know September is a month that is kind of like the new year for a lot of us, back to school, back to work, a lot of new beginnings, and that feeling of overwhelm starts to set in. So this blended yin and restorative class is going to be great for that. We'll be opening up through the front side of the body, really focusing on the hips and the chest. So go ahead. I don't know if I mentioned already about the bolster, but we will be using a bolster. If you do not have a bolster, you can grab 3 pillows, stack them one on top of the other, or one firm pillow if you have that. So go ahead, grab your bolster or your pillows, and we'll get started right away with our child's pose. So go ahead and grab your bolster. You're just going to bring your big toes to touch and bring your knees as wide as your mat, or wider if you prefer. Then you're just going to bring your bolster lengthways and draw it in towards your groin in between your thighs. You're then going to walk forward and drape your belly on top of the bolster. You can bring your arms by your side. You can stack palm on palm and let the chin rest. I'm going to go ahead and turn my left cheek onto the bolster. So if you chose to turn your cheek on the bolster, we're going to balance that out, balance the stretch through the neck by turning our cheek to the opposite side. Last few breaths here. Go ahead and bring the chin to the bolster. Last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. And sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Let's go ahead and push into our palms, lift the chest. Let's go ahead and close the legs, bring the knees to touch. Bring your bolster in on an angle. And just take a moment. Gently opening the eyes. Let's go ahead and make our way into a dragon. So bringing your bolster on its side, let's go ahead and step the left foot through. So you're bringing your left foot just to the left side of your mat. Go ahead and tuck your right toes under and shimmy your right knee back as much as is comfortable for you. So you want to find a placement for your bolster that's comfortable. You can keep it up on its side like this, or you can drop it on its side as well. I like to have it up just to give me a little bit more height. Bringing your forearms to the bolster. Really allowing the belly to be soft. Really trying to think about all those spaces in your hips. Really trying to fill it up with breath on every inhale. Really allowing the breath to flood in. Notice what your jaw is doing, if you're tensing your eyes. So the benefits of using a bolster in your practice is that it not only supports you, but it allows you to fully surrender, really drop into the pose. Last few breaths here. Last 2 breaths before we transition. Nice big inhale. Really fill up into the hips. And exhale, release. One more inhale. And gently exhale. Slowly opening the eyes. Push into the palms or push your hands into the bolster. Tuck your right toes under, and you're just going to send your hips back and straighten your left leg. Maybe you just shimmy your hips from side to side a bit. And we'll go ahead and come right away into our pigeon. So shimmying your left foot, your left toes to the right side of your mat. Go ahead, you can take your hands off the bolster and bring your shin to the mat. Untuck your right toes and send your right leg back, making sure that there's a nice line from your knee to your toes. Go ahead now, take a look over your shoulder, make sure your leg is actually behind you and not on a diagonal, and then square off your hips towards the top of your mat. From here, you're going to take your bolster lengthways again, bring it in. You can bring it on top of your foot if that's comfortable, and you're just going to drape the chest on top of the bolster. So you can bring your ear to the bolster like we did in child's pose, or you can stack palm and just allow the chin to rest on the hands. Really noticing the quality of your breaths. Last few breaths here. Last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. Open the mouth inside out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Opening the eyes, pushing into the palms. Walk yourself back upright. Remove the bolster. Just go ahead and swing that right leg around to the front. Bring your hands behind you and just hang out here for a moment. And we'll go ahead and do that on the other side. So finding yourself back in your tabletop position. This time we're stepping the right foot forward, bringing the right foot to the edge of the side of the mat. Tuck your left toes under, pick up your left knee, and shimmy your left knee back as much as is comfortable. Just making sure that your knee is stacked in line with your ankle. Finding the bolster placement so you could place it flat on its side or up on its side. Bringing your forearms onto the bolster. So really, the benefit of using the bolster, like I was saying before, is it really allows you to just surrender. So really just relax and allow the bolster to carry your weight. So again, your belly is nice and soft. Facial expressions are relaxed. Breathing space into every corner of your hips. Something that I like to do, I like to bring my thumbs to my third eye or just in between my eyebrows and let my head rest. Feels really nice. Last few breaths here. Last two breaths. Nice big inhale. Exhale, let it go. One more inhale. And exhale. Gently opening the eyes, lift the gaze, push your hands into your bolster. Straighten your right leg just for a moment. Let's go ahead now, making our way into our pigeon. So push the bolster away. Shimmy your right foot to the right side of the mat. Sorry, your right foot to the left side of the mat. And then bring your right shin to the floor. Making sure your knee and your toe are pointing in a nice long line. Look over your left shoulder. Make sure your left leg is nicely behind you. Take your bolster on its side, the lengthways, and draw it in towards your belly. You can bring it on top of the ankle if that's comfortable for you, and then drape yourself over the bolster. And again, you can stack palm on palm. You can bring your chin to the bolster or bring your cheek. Another great tip, if you're having a hard time surrendering onto the bolster, you can always bring your hands underneath to bring the bolster closer to your head if that's more comfortable. Last few breaths here. Last two breaths here. Nice big inhale. And sigh it out. One more inhale. And gently exhale. Opening the eyes, lift the gaze, coming all the way back up. Remove the bolster. Lean onto your right hip and bring your left leg out from behind you, in front of you now. Bend the knees, and you can fold in or lean back and sink into your shoulder girdle. Just a few breaths. Gently opening the eyes. We'll be coming into our final posture, which will be a reclined hero's position. So go ahead and bring your bolster again lengthways on your mat. So in a tabletop position, bring your big toes to touch and your knees wide. Go ahead and sit back into the saddle that you've created with your feet. So I'm just going to quickly demonstrate this with a block, just in case coming all the way down is not accessible for you at this point. You simply place the block on its second highest height, or of course you're going to adjust the height based on your ability. Bring the bolster in close towards your bum and then come down. So this makes it a little bit more accessible for you to lean back and open up through the chest if coming all the way down is not for you right now in your practice. Otherwise, bring the bolster towards your low back. Bring your hands beside you, pick up your hips, and readjust your bum into your feet. You'll notice a slight pull in the hip flexors, a lengthening effect, and coming all the way down. So you can have your arms out beside you, cactus arms. You can bring your arms up overhead, grab a hold of opposite wrists, opposite elbows. What I like to do is I like to bring my hand underneath my head. Last few breaths here. Last two. Nice big inhale. And side out. Last one, inhale. Bring it all the way up into the chest, right up underneath your armpits. Open the mouth and sigh it out. Opening the eyes, removing the hands if you had them underneath your head. Bring them down by your side. Push into your palms to lift yourself all the way back up. So we'll be making our way into our Savasana, using, of course, our bolster. So bringing your bolster flat on its side or high on its side. Go ahead and come to your bum. You're going to snuggle the bolster into the crevice of your knees. So just behind the knees. Make sure it's nice and comfy. Then you're just going to come to lay all the way on to your back. So if you have low back tenderness or low back pain, or you just feel uncomfortable when you're lying in a Shavasana position, this is a really great alternative. You can also do this with 2 blocks and place your knees on top of the blocks. For today, we're using the bolster. So closing the eyes, just making any minor adjustments so that you resolve to be still for your Shavasana. So no fidgeting, no fixing. Always remembering to show yourself a moment of gratitude for showing up to practice. Feeling free to stay here for as long as you'd like. I do hope you enjoyed today's practice. I hope any feelings of overwhelm that you may have been feeling have been washed away with this practice. Really allowing you to take this time for yourself to nourish and relax.